Getting up in front of a bunch of teens and delivering a message is a whole different ballgame than delivering it to a bunch of adults. So here we go. You know, I'm not much of a golfer, but I won't forget the very first time I went out to tee up. I was in college, went out with a couple of buddies with mine. I'd been to the driving range numerous times as a teenager in high school, but this was my first time going to play on an actual course. So I'm at the tee. I rest my ball on tee. I get set up. I know I have a horrible pose. Don't judge me. I pull back, and I release the fury within. I hit that ball with everything I have. I'm like, this is going to be a Happy Gilmore type of moment. It's going to go 450 yards. It's going to be awesome. About 50 yards down, hits a tree, ricochets back, comes right back towards me and my buddies, goes past me, ends up in the parking lot. Not what I would call a good start. So I go up to tee up for the second time, this time out in the parking lot. My friend yells out to me, hey, come back here to the tee box and try again. Use a mulligan. I didn't know what a mulligan was, so he explained it to me. Apparently, a mulligan in golf is a shot that doesn't count against you. You don't write it down. It's scratched from the game as if that last shot never happened. So as I start to think about a mulligan in golf, I wonder how awesome would it be to be able to use a mulligan in life? Get pulled over for speeding? Mulligan. You screw up at work? Mulligan. Guys, husbands, you forget to take the trash out and your wife gets mad at you? Mulligan. For all the single people in here, you finally get up the nerve to talk to that hot guy or that hot girl, and the words that you want to say just aren't coming out. You kind of, hi, my name's Joe. I'm kind of a big deal. Mulligan. If you've ever worn spandex shorts, mulligan. I'm just saying, chances are that if you're anything like me, there are certain areas in my life that I wish I could just go back and replay and use a mulligan. You know, I think about the times when I hurt somebody I really cared about, or the times I wish I did something that I wished I hadn't have done. No penalties, no playbacks, just a mulligan. We all need mulligans. We all need do-overs, right? So in the Bible, we find a story of a man who threw away the chance of a lifetime. He let down his best friend. He denied his master. And in his mind, he screwed up in a way that could never be forgiven. This is also a story of a God who gives mulligans. This is a story of Peter. So today, if you got your Bible, open it up, turn it on, do whatever you need to do. If you don't have a Bible, it's okay. We'll have it on the screen. We're going to be in John 21. John 21, that's where we're going to hang out today. This story that we're about to read takes place the first time after Jesus appears to his disciples after his resurrection. So we're going to start off in verse 3. John 21, verse 3. It says, Simon Peter said to them, I'm going fishing. They said to him, we will go with you. They went out and got into the boat, but they had caught nothing all night. Just as the day was breaking, Jesus stood on the shore, yet the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. Important to remember that. The disciples didn't know that it was Jesus on the shore. Oh, I lost my place here. Jesus said to them, children, do you have any fish? They answered him, no. He said to them, cast the net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some. So they cast it, and now they were not able to haul it in because of the quantity of fish. That disciple whom Jesus loved, therefore said to Peter, it is the Lord. When Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on the outer garment, for he was stripped for work, and he threw himself into the sea. The other disciples came in on the boat, dragging the net full of fish, for they were not far from land, but about 100 yards off. And they got on the land. They saw a charcoal fire in place, with fish laid down on it and bread. You know, as Peter swam to shore, he might have been thinking, this seems really familiar. You see, the first time Peter encountered Jesus, Jesus climbed into Peter's boat so he could speak to a crowd that had come to listen to him. And after Jesus had finished speaking, Jesus told Peter, let's go back out and fish. Peter was a professional fisherman before he became a disciple of Christ. He had just finished the entire night, caught nothing at all, but he went anyways. When he let his nets down, the nets became so full that they were about to break, and the weight was about to sink the boat. And this is when Jesus called Peter to be his disciple. So he was thinking, this seems really familiar. You see, the exact same type of fishing miracle had just occurred after the resurrection of Christ. He doesn't see Peter on shore, but he knows it's him. So he swims to Jesus. When he gets there, Jesus is cooking breakfast. Fish for breakfast. Gross. No. Maybe unless you put a little syrup on it, I don't know. But as Peter watches Jesus cook breakfast, he noticed Jesus is cooking on a charcoal fire. And at that moment, his heart just dropped. And I don't think it was because he preferred gas over charcoal. He probably felt a little sick to his stomach. I'm just saying. He probably felt a little sick to his stomach. He may have even thought of running away. You see, a few days, a few weeks, a month earlier, Peter stood in front of a similar charcoal fire. It was in front of that charcoal fire that Peter denied Jesus, not once, not twice, but 3 times. I don't know him. I'm not with him. I don't know him, I'm telling you. You know, I can kind of relate to that. When I was growing up in middle school, I had this friend. I was kind of a nerd, but this guy was much nerdier than me. So I can say this, it's okay. Well, I had went out to the movies with another bunch of friends. Movie was over and we were coming out and ran into this one friend, the one that's kind of nerdy, and he started talking to me. And I completely ignored him. I was like, I don't know him. You know, my friends were like, who's that? Couldn't tell you. I don't know. So I can relate. Maybe you haven't denied a friend, but teens, maybe you've denied your mom or dad out in public. Anyone done that before? No, don't raise your hand. I'm just teasing. You know, we deny lots of things. We deny being scared. We deny being tired. We deny being the one that passed gas. So we deny lots of things. And most of us, like Peter, have denied Jesus. So what are the ways in which we deny Jesus? You know, it's not that we stand out on the street and yell out, I don't know Jesus, like Peter did. We deny him maybe in our actions, in our relationships. You know, Jesus, I know I shouldn't date this person or hang out with this group, but deny. How about in who controls our life? Jesus, I know you want me to go this way, and you have this path for me, but I want to go this way, and deny. Jesus, I know I shouldn't post these things on Facebook, but I'm really, really ticked off right now. Deny. I know I shouldn't be thinking these thoughts, but deny. How about in our time? Jesus, I know you want to spend time with me, and we will. Just wait till Sunday, and in the 168 hours you give us in a week, I will give you 1 hour of my time. Deny. Or, I know we shouldn't spew these toxic thoughts or gossip, but deny. And when we deny Jesus, just like Peter, we fail. After Peter denied knowing Jesus 3 times, he went on trial. He was taken before a judge of that time and accused of things he never did. Anyone here ever been lied about? I have. It hurts, doesn't it? And for those that could have taken a stand for Jesus and for those that could have been his witness, they denied him. They abandoned him. And that included Peter. And Jesus was given the death penalty. And all of those who claimed to be followers of Jesus, they sure weren't following him right now. Jesus was taken. He was beaten. He was forced to carry a cross. And it was on that cross that he would die. Jesus overcame death. It didn't stop there. Jesus overcame death. And 3 days later, he rose from the dead. And to prove that Jesus overcame death, he went to those who were close to him. to show them that what had been predicted had happened, to let them know that they had a second chance. So going back to the story, Jesus had just overcome death, and they're at the beach. Peter has joined his friends for breakfast, and breakfast was now over. All of his friends, I don't know, maybe they were off doing dishes, but Peter finds himself alone in front of the fire with Jesus. It's the moment of truth. With his failure fresh in his mind, with the guilt just flowing through his body, Peter stands in front of the charcoal fire, thinking about that day. You know, Peter's probably asked the question, what was I thinking? You know, he's probably thinking in ways which he would do it differently had he had the chance to do it all over again. And Peter knows he's going to have to say something. He's going to have to own up to what he's done. He's going to have to come clean. And Peter, he just stares into the charcoal fire. You know, if he's like me, he's probably thinking avoid eye contact, avoid eye contact, avoid eye contact. Jesus, he breaks the silence. In verse 15, when Peter had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." He said to him, "Feed my sheep." Notice what Jesus does not say. He doesn't say, "Do you promise to never do it again?" He doesn't say, "Will you try harder?" Instead, Jesus puts his heart on the line. "Peter, do you love me?" He waits for a response from Peter like a boy or girl who just put his heart on the line for somebody that they love. You hope that they say yes. Skipping ahead to verse 17. He said to him the third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was grieved because he said to him the third time, "Do you love me?" He said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Peter responded, "Yes, Lord." You know, if I'm Peter, I have some doubts. I love you, well, as much as I can. I could love you more. I'm not even sure how to love. You know, I'm thinking this is a setup question before Jesus just rips into me. Do you love me? Then why did you treat me this way? Why did you deny me when I needed you the most? But Jesus doesn't respond that way. Let's finish that verse. Jesus said to him, "Feed my sheep." Feed my sheep? What's that mean? Jesus is saying this. Peter, Jesus is saying this. Peter, get back in the game. This happens 3 times. 3 times Peter denied Jesus. 3 times Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" Until he finally gets upset. And something incredible is happening to Peter, and Peter doesn't even know it. Jesus is taking somebody who missed the opportunity of a lifetime, and it's saying, let's try it again. From this same point in front of a fire, let's try this again. Take a second shot. Take a mulligan. See what happens. And this time, instead of denying Jesus 3 times, Peter professes his love for Jesus 3 times. There are many of us in this room who, like Peter, we failed. And if Jesus were to show up, you wouldn't want to talk. You wouldn't want him to see where you are in your life right now. You might even try to run away. You know, like I said in the beginning, this is a story for those who have messed up and who have failed. I don't know, maybe you're looking at things on the internet you shouldn't be. Maybe your actions right now are repulsive in the way you treat people. Maybe your relationship with God, maybe your relationships that you're in right now, they're not God-honoring. Or maybe you're doing something you probably shouldn't be doing. Maybe you're not treating your spouse like you should. Maybe the words that you're speaking are life-taking rather than life-giving. Whatever it is, whatever the Holy Spirit is convicting you of right now. Listen, if that's you, you have the opportunity to stand in front of the charcoal fire or whatever it is that you've denied Jesus and just be alone with him. Listen to the question Jesus is asking you. Do you love me? Yeah, I know you dropped the ball. I know you messed up, but the question remains the same. Jesus is asking, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? Yes, you may have failed, but don't live in that failure. Jesus is saying to you, feed my sheep. If you love me, get back in the game. My love, my forgiveness, my grace stretches further than your failures. This is a story about those who have messed up and failed, but this is also a story about a God who gives mulligans. He wants you to take a mulligan right now.